What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tearfond Orbital. I want to talk a little bit about the install commission that I recently completed on a Space Junk Sabers custom one-off hilt. They're all custom one-offs from Space Junk. They are. Like, I don't think Nevin has made two of the same hilts. But this one in particular is very, very unique. This is based on a Y-wing bomber. This reminds me of a hilt that was done by Nevin last year. It was a Millennium Falcon themed hilt, and it was a really, really great looking hilt. This one, I think, in my opinion, is better than that one, but that's probably because I'm biased, right? One of my favorite ships from the original trilogy was the Y-wing, right? That was one of my favorites, obviously next to the Falcon, but I really, really love the Y-wing. I love the fact that we've got touches of a Y-wing engine in this hilt. So this one was a lot of fun to design for, right? I wanted to do a chassis for this install that looked a little bit industrial, that made it look like it was some sort of internals of the engine. So I'm really, really happy with how this one came out. So I do want to come into Fusion and talk about the chassis a little bit. And then obviously we'll come up top and we'll get a closer look at this thing, and then we'll do a demo, right? So let's come into Fusion. Join me. All right, so here we are in Fusion. Thanks for tagging along. Thanks for sticking around. Let's talk about this lightsaber chassis, right? So right off the bat, there is a giant notch in this chassis, and you're probably asking yourself, why does it look like that, Tim? That's very ugly. In this particular hilt, Nevin did include a toggle switch, a red toggle switch. This is from the Saber Merchant. Jeremy at the Saber Merchant offers these. So I had to allow clearance for that particular switch. It's pretty wide, it's pretty deep. So I had to make sure that we had enough room when I slid the chassis up into the hilt to allow for that switch, right? So that's what that giant notch is. The main chassis, I just did greebly work on both sides of this. On one side, I've got holes for rectangular red LEDs. These are lit independently, so each one is a different animation. Around the other side, we have a 19 Neopixel accent ring. This is from ShtokCustomWorx. So I did embed that in the chassis, and then I designed a resin cap to go over it just to make it a little bit more unique, right? At the bottom, we've got a fully enclosed 28mm speaker. This is from Smugglers Outpost. Kill switch is just underneath the board here, and the Proffie board does sit in this tray and slides up underneath this lip. And that's it, right? Relatively short, relatively simple chassis. If I did not have over 30 millimeters on the inside of this grip, I would not have been able to do this. It was a tight squeeze to get everything in here. And also, you'll probably notice, like, I flipped the battery orientation in this because it was the battery's just too long for the inside of the grip to allow space for the speaker and everything. So it's negative up orientation, right? We'll talk about that right now. Okay, so here it is. Right off the bat, right? So these upper tines, or, I don't even know what you would call them, but this entire upper section looks like a Y-wing engine to me. It's a really, really good rendition of a Y-wing engine that's been made into a lightsaber hilt. I have no idea where any of these other parts came from. None of this stuff looks familiar to me, but it does look like a Y-wing engine nonetheless. Up top, another really, really cool detail. I think these rings are from old camera. Like, there's a Kodak camera lens focus ring up here. Just really, really awesome parts. Like, I don't know, again, like, I don't know where any of this stuff came from. Here is that red toggle button. This was already, I believe, painted and weathered by Nevin before it was sent to me. But that is a really, really unique switch, right? So you get left and right action, and you can also press it. So the way that I have wired this switch up, left and right are your main, so you can turn on and turn off the hilt by toggling it either way, and then your aux is just pressing it down, right? So to get at your chassis, let's unthread that grip. So here is the chassis. I did this in a military gray. I wanted to keep it in line with the rest of the hilt, right? And make it look like it was the engine internals. But there's that resin greebly that I put over that 19 Neopixel accent ring. Just did my usual pass of, actually I didn't. I did not do a pass of Tamiya on this one. This was just straight military gray, right? I did paint some of these accents, and then I went back and did some weathering pigments from Tamiya. And then I painted this some of this red as well. And that's it, right? Really, really happy with how this chassis came out. So to use this hilt, this is a relatively tight battery tray, okay? Keep in mind your spring is up towards the blade. So take that flat part of your battery, rest your battery in that battery tray, hit your kill switch. So there are those two rectangular red LEDs. And then around the other side is that 19 Neopixel accent ring. Try to get different animations for every font, right? So, once you get your battery in, you can put your grip on. Just thread that grip on until it stops and you're ready to go, right? So, Nevin did include a blade plug with this build. I'm gonna go ahead and take that blade plug out. You can't take it through these tines here. You've got to bring it all the way up to get it out, right? There we go. Really, really unique blade plug as well. So let's come down to the bottom. Okay, so 1-inch blade holder. You want to slide your blade all the way down till it's resting on those PCB pins. There is a set screw, black set screw around front here that will serve as your blade retention. So just kind of tighten that so it's hugging the blade and you're ready to go. It's a really good sounding hilt. So to the customer, these fonts are, the majority of these fonts are the ones that you sent to me to put on the hilt. So they're all on there. I also included the config on the SD card. But let's see what else we put on here.
Han Solo, I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
One more.
I'm Cal Kestis.
This is a really good sounding hilt. Yeah, one more. Yeah, it just looks so cool with this. I mean, I have never seen a lightsaber that looks like this, which is usually the case with stuff from Space Junk Sabers, but this thing is really, really rad looking, right? So that's all I got. To the customer, whoops. To the customer, thank you very much for trusting me with your build. If anyone has any questions about this particular install or anything really, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the Force be with you most of the time.